What's up, everybody? Welcome to The Revival. My name is JJ, and today I'm talking about one of my favorite NES games of all time, The Adventures of Lolo. It's so unfortunate that I never heard anyone else talking about the Lolo series as a kid. Well, outside my family, that is. Without the internet at my disposal back then, it would have been great to compare notes and solve puzzles with nearby friends who also gamed, rather than needing to wait until there was a time my parents were putting together some sort of a family visit. As I've mentioned in previous videos, a lot of my time with the NES was spent over at either my grandfather's or my aunt and uncle's place. Since I was an only child, I loved being able to go and share these gaming experiences with my cousins, and The Adventures of Lolo is easily up there as one of my most nostalgic games. It's a shame more people I knew didn't, and still don't, have much experience with this wonderful little puzzler. The story in The Adventures of Lolo is pretty shallow. You get a small cutscene at the beginning of the game showing Princess Lala, the pink version of whatever little puffball thing Lolo is, getting kidnapped. Your job is to storm the castle and get through all 10 floors, each containing 5 puzzles. Once you reach the final room of the final floor and save the princess, the game is won. As with any puzzler, the gameplay is where Lolo truly shines. Each room has you collecting hearts while moving blocks and avoiding enemies. Once you get all the hearts, the treasure chest unlocks with the key to the next room or floor. Sometimes you'll have to try certain stages several times over, but with 5 lives and infinite continues, this game really allows you to relax and take your time solving every encounter. Now, that's not to say that the game won't frustrate you, but I found that the most frustrating times were like my own fault. Like, I would forget that I was walking into a line of sight, or I would completely forget that there was something that was moving in my direction because I was focused on some other aspect. But if you just stick to like what the game actually like presents for you to do as far as the mechanics go, you really shouldn't have that hard of a time. The game it's tough, but it's definitely not impossible. And honestly, with practice, you'll breeze right through it. The hardest part is just figuring out the puzzles themselves. The visuals in Lolo are bright and colorful, but honestly there isn't much variety in the way each room looks. There are only around 8 or so enemies total that show up, and I didn't see any differences in the assets until pretty late in the game, where there are a couple rooms that have added lava to the floor. You can tell they focused on making creative puzzles with the resources they had over anything else. It didn't really bother me overall, but I can totally understand if some people might be turned off by the repetitive nature of how the only thing that really changes from room to room is the layout. As far as the music, you will pretty much hear one song. A lot. And I do mean a lot. It simply loops the same song from beginning to end, and doesn't change when entering a new room. There are short little sound bites when you complete a floor, or when you die, just like most games of the time. But you'll hear the same song on loop for so many times that it'll get stuck in your head for long after you're finished playing. As for the sound itself, you'll grow to hate hearing some of them. You'll cringe when you hear a shot from a Medusa or a knife from a Don, because you know it's instant death. I'll be honest though, this has never really been a negative for me. Those sounds became so ingrained in my head as something to avoid, that it only fueled my determination to try and get past that room. I will say, this is one of the things that I miss about not having the internet around, is that a lot of games, you're not looking at reviews necessarily, or trying to figure out, get a feel for how the games are. You just saw something that looked neat, and you went for it. Whether it be renting, or just buying it, or trying it out at a friend's house, or something like that, you use your own judgment, and that was great. I seriously don't know that I would have even given this game a second thought if the internet had been around. Not necessarily because I think people would have called it bad or given it terrible reviews or anything like that, but because I don't know. I feel like if I had seen screenshots and looked at it, I would have kind of been I'll probably skip that one. I'm not huge into puzzlers, but B, it just looks a little too cutesy for me. But I honestly am so glad that I got to try this out at my aunt's house because it's so much fun. And I highly, highly recommend it. Now is the perfect time to play it too, since they just brought it to the Switch and with the online deal. So definitely, if you get the chance, check out one of my favorite games for the NES, The Adventures of Lolo. Yeah, so as always, thanks for watching and keep on gaming.